So now I am driving the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro on a regular city roads. And this way I can get a better feel for what this thing feels like as a daily driver. And the biggest surprise about driving this TRD Pro on a regular road is the fact that the steering has a really good heft to it. It's actually reasonably heavy, not as heavy as the previous generation Tacoma with the hydraulic power steering, but actually surprisingly good. Very good feedback from the road. I can kind of get a sense of what's going on underneath the vehicle because it's communicating well with my hands. And you know what? It's actually quite a bit heavier than other TNGA-F platform vehicles I've driven, including the new Land Cruiser, including the new GX. All of them have really light steering, but this Tacoma TRD Pro has a really solid feel. Even more so than the TRD Off-Road or the regular Tacoma, such as the Limited. They all have a kind of lighter steering, although reasonably accurate. But this one has a hefty feel, and I love it because I really like the heavier steering on the trucks especially. It gives you that confidence, it gives you that kind of feel of driving a real truck. And so I am really glad that they decided to keep some of the heavier feel, at least for TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. Also, the ride is actually very comfortable, surprisingly soft because of the Fox suspension on this TRD Pro, and it's taking all the bumps and shocks really well. So as a daily vehicle, you might not think of driving trucks, but this one is quite a suitable daily vehicle. And in terms of the steering feel, the steering mechanism and steering feedback, I like it better than the Land Cruiser because Land Cruiser is targeted more for perhaps families and people who want a premium SUV, but they don't want to have a heavy steering like this. So this is probably the biggest surprise about driving the Tacoma TRD Pro. But also the interesting thing is that the 2.4 turbocharged four-cylinder engine with a hybrid in the Tacoma TRD Pro sounds different and feels different than the other 2.4 turbo I've driven, especially compared to the Land Cruiser 250 series, which has identical 2.4 turbo with hybrid, same basic output and everything. But in this one, because of the TRD exhaust and everything, you get a grunt sound, you get a bit of a growl to it, and when you step on it, it kind of feels more like a V6 engine, much more so than the Land Cruiser 250 series, which has a lighter feel, and the engine has a bit of a tinny sound to it. So unfortunately, it doesn't feel like a Land Cruiser from the past, whereas this one, and when you step in like this, that sound is beautiful. It makes you feel like you're driving a V6 because of the sound, because of the feel, and then the grunt force that pushes me against the seat when I step on the gas makes you feel like it is simply something with a much larger engine. So I'm just really happy and glad that Sheldon Brown, the chief engineer for Toyota Tacoma, has purposely dialed in this beautiful truck feel, a beautiful exclusive TRD Pro feel that I think is not in other TNGA-F platform vehicles. So thank you for that. No doubt that still feels like a truck because it's a bit jittery over some bumpy road, but as I have already talked about in the off-road course, and this thing can handle some of the very serious off-roading conditions, even at high speed, and that is a very impressive attribute and a character. So if you think that I really like the Tacoma TRD Pro, yeah, I love it. I love this Tacoma TRD Pro, which means I'm probably going to love the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro even more because that one is going to feel a little bit more stable, a bit more settled down, being an SUV and so forth. And so I can't wait to drive that vehicle as well. But I just wanted to do this quick road drive because most of the time I spent with the Tacoma TRD Pro was on off-road courses. And finally I get to drive this on the regular road, on a city road, and it is just a beautiful truck. Of course, do I miss the V6 engine? Yeah, I do, just because I really like the V6 engine that was in the previous generation Tacoma, because I've owned a number of those Tacoma models. But I'm just thankful that after driving the TRD Pro with this 2.4 turbo hybrid, with exhaust sound, with the hefty feel, with a good grunt feel, I'm just really thankful that it doesn't feel like a turbo four-cylinder engine. It doesn't feel like a 4, it feels like a V6. And they've done a beautiful job of that. All right, everyone, so I'm now in Tacoma TRD Pro taking it off-road. It's a variety of different off-road courses that we're going to experience. So I'm going to do this kind of live stream style and just talk as I drive, different road conditions, It's going to be interesting to see how the TRD Pro version of the Tacoma with the iForce Max will handle some of the very challenging road condition that we're going to face. So stay with me and I'll tell you how I am experiencing and what I think of the Tacoma TRD Pro in these kind of conditions that are very different from on-road driving. Okay, so we're just driving right now over some gentle bumpy road, gravel road, no problem at all. Just a reminder that Tacoma TRD Pro has the iForce Max engine, turbocharged 2.4 liter engine with a hybrid system, great amount of power and torque, 326 horsepower, 465 pound-foot of torque. I know not all of you guys are crazy about going from V6 to 4-cylinder, but this thing is one powerful engine, so it should do well. But right now I'm really focused on the suspension and the driving character to see how this thing handles rough roads. So we're driving over some bumpy road, and it's so far like it's really comfortable, despite the fact that we have lots of gravel and pretty bumpy conditions. It's really quite comfortable so far, very stable, agile, and has a good character to it. So I'm so far impressed. These ones also has the isodynamic seats, and I guess until I get to a little faster speed I won't know how that works, but so far the seats feels very comfortable as well. Okay, so we're gonna jump over a river. Did you say it was a ditch, a river?
It's like a little
irrigation channel, and we're gonna actually fly through the air. So let's see how this thing handles that. Okay, so I speed up to 40 miles. Did you say? Where? Can you give me some warning where it is?
Yeah, you'll see it. It's the different color. So give it a little bit more gas. It's darker brown up here where the shadow is.
Yeah.
A little bit more. There you go. Even more. Even more. There you go.
Wow. Oh, it's not too bad.
See, it's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. And then now it doesn't matter what speed I drive.
You can round up about 40 all the way up to 59.
Wow, this is shockingly rough condition. You would not do this in any other truck. Okay, where am I going?
Right here.
Okay. So I just went over some extremely rough condition, driving at about 30 to 40 miles per hour, and this Fox suspension on the TRD Pro just handled it like a champ. I mean, I was shaking quite a bit, but felt very stable, and it felt confident. That's the most important thing. So we're driving through a different kind of road condition. It's too bad you guys can't see the road ahead, but believe me, it's pretty challenging course. But very comfortable in the TRD Pro. It just handles like there's nothing underneath here. So again, I just want to iterate some interesting changes for 24 Tacoma TRD Pro. We went from V6 to Turbo 4 with or without hybrid. TRD Pros are all hybrid. We did lose the hydraulic power steering, and now it's EPS or electric power steering. But you know, the overall feel of the Tacoma is actually excellent. It doesn't feel too light. It is definitely lighter than before. It still has a pretty good feedback. It feels quite natural. It feels almost like hydraulic power steering, not quite, because it's lighter, but good on-center feel, which means when I move the steering away from the center, I can tell that the steering is trying to go back to center a little bit. So that's a good feel as well. Lots of blind spots. It's a little scary, but whoa. No, I'm not doubting the capability of this thing after this drive. Wow, this is quite a drive. If you don't have something capable, you'll get stuck for sure. It's actually a lot of fun to drive like this, in a truck like this. Also 8-speed automatic as well, but the transmission shifting really well. I can barely tell they're shifting at all in this Tacoma TRD Pro. And the isodynamic seats are wonderful. I can't even feel anything. It just takes up the cushion, keeps me stable this way and that way, so vertically and laterally. It must be doing its job because I'm not shaking as much as I thought I would in a condition like this.
There you go.
Wow. This is an incredible capability.
Nice. Just stay on the gas as you're coming up the hill.
It feels like I'm in a rally race here.
Yeah. That's a good time.
Yeah, and the truck feels very stable too. Like it's not just in terms of bumpy road, but turning, cornering.
Super planted.
Yeah, very planted. I'm glad I'm not the passenger. I'll probably get car sick. So hopefully you guys can tell the capability of the Tacoma TRD Pro
And then left again.
as I'm driving through this a bit of a crazy off-road track that's originally designed for motocrossing. But wow, I will not question the capability of this vehicle.
And,
Wow.
It's steeper than it looks.
Way steeper than I thought. Oh my goodness, I thought I was like almost vertical to the ground. This one too?
Yep.
Oh, I guess I can see from here a little
Not quite
bit.
as steep on this one, but still pretty steep.
Just let the brake go though?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Wow, this is
30 plus degree
very
climb.
cool. What a drive. So that's about it in terms of Tacoma TRD Pro. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, make some comments. And if you haven't done so yet, would you kindly subscribe as well? Until next video, I'm signing off for now. Thank you so much.